Want to know how many sets and reps you should do in your workouts? Well, here's a guide. And before I start, let me just take a step back and explain what sets are and what reps are, just in case you're not familiar. So this is how you'll often see workouts written out. It might say a push-up 3 times 12. So push-ups are the exercise, 3 is the number of sets, and 12 is the number of repetitions. So a repetition, also called a rep, is when you do an exercise one time. So if you do 12 push-ups in a row, you've done 12 reps. A set is a group of repetitions. So if you do 12 reps of push-ups, that's 1 set. And then you rest and you do 12 more push-ups, that's 2 sets. And then you rest and you do 12 more, now you've done 3 sets. The number of sets and reps you should do depends mostly on your training experience and your goals. So let's start with training experience. So that's how long you've been training consistently. Now, when you first start out with strength training, you'll get stronger and build muscle really no matter how many sets and reps you do, as long as you train consistently. So you can see some improvements with as little as 1 set per exercise, but more is generally better. So when you first start out, I recommend 1 or ideally 2 sets per exercise. For reps, when you first start out, it's important to get your body used to weightlifting and learn good form for each exercise. And so I recommend starting with 12 to 15 reps in each set, so you can use relatively light weights and have plenty of opportunity to practice learning good form for each exercise. Now, after the first 6 to 8 weeks of consistent training, you'll benefit from doing a few more sets. So at that point, I recommend 2 to 3 sets per exercise. And you can also start to increase the weights and move to a rep range of 8 to 12. Then you work on that for a few more months consistently. And it's important that you have this foundation of a few months of consistent training and know how to do all your exercises properly before you get into heavier strength training. Also, if you have a history of injury or pain, or if you're older, or if you just feel like you need more time to get used to lifting weights, feel free to stay in this stage for longer. Once you move past the beginner stage, usually after about 6 months of consistent training, it's time to vary the number of reps you do and the number of sets you do, although they stay a bit more consistent. So for sets, we still want to be around 2 to 3, maybe even 4 sets per exercise if you have time. And for reps, anywhere between about 4 to 15 or even more reps is going to have benefits. So you can choose your reps based on your goal, and you can change your reps every, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks is what I would recommend. So here are some goals and the rep ranges that seem to work the best for most people. Now just be aware that different people respond to different rep ranges differently. So this is just a general guide. So you might find that different rep ranges affect your body and mind differently. And that's normal, and feel free to do what feels best for you. So if your goal is to get stronger, I would recommend something between 4 to 8 reps. To improve your mental health, decrease your anxiety or depression, your best benefits are going to come from heavy strength training. So again, I would recommend between 4 and 8 reps. If your goal is to train your nervous system to do something like decrease chronic dizziness, I would also recommend 4 to 8 reps. If your goal is to build muscle mass, so get more defined muscles, I would recommend 8 to 12 reps. For managing your weight or improving your metabolism, pretty similar, somewhere between 8 to 15 reps is usually pretty effective for that. If your goal is to make your muscles more fatigue resistant, so if you're a runner or a cyclist or you're training for a race and you want to support that training, I would recommend somewhere around 15 to 25 reps for that. Now again, this is a general guide. Please experiment and figure out what works best for you. So good luck and enjoy the process.